This is Lee with 82 Gaming 12. I'm on channel Sun Deliveries 75. Video 9. Fighting Formations, Grossdeutschland's Division's Battle for Kharkov. Module designed by Brian R. Van Nortwick. The Fighting Formation system designed by Chad Jensen. We are in turn 9. This scenario is 16 tigers. Outside of Bogodukov, Ukraine, 9th of March, 1943. So it's part of the Operation Citadel campaign. And the Germans are tasked with trying to clear out the Soviet forces in the area. And they want to capture these objectives here. These are 4 building hexes. And that's where we're at. Now, I was reading through this magazine, Tanks, Bringing History to Life. Oh, here we go. Here's the date right here. I was looking for that the other day. And let's see if we can get that into focus here. I think we have to. There we go. So January 2023 is when this came out. So I've had it for a couple of years. As I was going through here, I didn't realize that the T-34-76 only had 4 crew. And the commander was also the gunner. So you think about that. The commander is having to command the tank and direct all those involved. And yet, they also have to pull the trigger. They have to look through the main gun sight. And I've got an image of that. Let me find it. I think it's going back this other way. So we pull back and get some light over here. So right here, tank commander and gunner. So you had the radio operator, which was also the assistant driver, and then the driver, and then you had the loader. And so the loader and the tank commander were both in the turret. You know, commander gunner. So that's going to be a disadvantage when they're facing a Tiger that has a crew of 5. And so here's the viewfinder. It says that the T-34's optics were poor. According to one driver, the periscopes were made of ugly yellow or green organic glass, giving a completely distorted, wavy picture. Often the tank commander had to guide the driver through the terrain. So, this light a little over here. So over here we've got for the machine gun. This is for the one of them's for the armor-piercing shells, and the other one's for the high explosive. And I don't remember which is which there. So, but that really kind of put them at a disadvantage if the tank commander is also the gunner. But the T-34 was a very good tank. And could outmatch the Panzer IVs, at least up to the F. And well, here's a Panzer IV F, and you can see that the T-34 could reach out to 1,600 meters, while the Panzer shooting at the T-34 had to be within 500 meters. But just pull down here. There we go. Get out of the shadows. The Panzer IV-H, 2,700 meters. And the T-34 is 16 to 600. So, but, of course, I showed this already. Production of combat vehicles, the Soviets made so many more tanks than the Germans did. You go to 1942, okay, the Soviets made over 24,000, while the Germans only made, less than 7,000. That's over 3 to 1. And in 43, again, they made 24,000, and the Germans only made 10,000. So that's still 2 to 1. And so that's where they had the advantage, is they had more tanks, but they didn't have a very good process of training those individuals that they threw into those tanks. They just had limited knowledge. And the other factor was they were running low on the materials needed to make these tanks. And so some of the tanks, they were just, from tank to tank, there were things that were a little different and odd. So if you went, you were in one tank and then, your tank broke down or was damaged in battle, and you went and got another tank, then it didn't quite perform like the tank that you were in. You could say, well, part of that is because they had to move their factories due to the German invasion back in 1941. So a lot of these things, once you realize everything that's involved, you understand a little bit better what took place. And the only way you're going to learn these things is if you get an interest sparked, like I do. When I play these games, I get really intrigued with the battle and the people involved and the equipment and all of that. So I go and look for books. Books are Much better than just going onto the internet, because the internet's full of stuff that's inaccurate. A book is going to have all the, it's going to have the bibliography, so it's going to have all the different sources where they got their information, and then you can check that up, and most of them are going to be, related, or the sources are going to be people that were actually involved or alive at the time. Just like the book that I showed in another video of the German tank commander that actually commanded the Tiger tank and a platoon. And that's the other thing, is that the Germans' company size was much larger than any other nation when they organized their tanks. That's also in this magazine. This magazine is a great source of information. They have done an excellent job. Something else, talking about training, the Germans, put out training manuals, and they weren't, here's examples of some of the training, the pages in the manuals. You've got all of these different drawings and details that made it interesting for the individuals that were going to be in tanks. And so they made it interesting and kind of entertaining. And it's not just plain drab information, but they did a good job of presenting the information in a way that would be interesting to the soldiers that would be in these tanks. And when it's like that, you have a tendency to remember a lot more when some of the presentation, as a former teacher, I know that if you can make it exciting and change it up a little bit, your students are likely to remember a lot more than if it's just, the same old rote learning. So that's something that the Germans did. But they also did a very good job of training their soldiers. And it's not the fault of the Soviet soldiers, it was the higher command. And part of that is, you have Stalin, who was really, he was a criminal. And he got into power. And he executed most of the Soviet high command. And this really hurt the Soviets at the beginning of the war, because all of the experienced leaders were no longer around. Well, a couple of things I was thinking about here is I had this tiger right here, and it's a squad, which is pretty much like one tank. Sometimes you could look at it as 1.5 tanks, but they were here in this square, and I had them. If you have an enemy unit in the same hex, if you fire, you have to fire at that enemy. You can't ignore them. And I did. I ignored them to fire, and I shouldn't have done that. The other thing was, when these units moved in, they could have been fired at by the tank here that they moved in with. And the other thing is, during a advance and infantry move in to the hex, you're not going to have any, you don't get to actually do the melee. You just move into the hex. And then if you're given a fire order, or you're given, say, an assault order where you can move and fire, then you would perform the actual melee. So melee is part of the fire order, and it's not a separate order. And if you follow the chart that you're provided, then get that turned away. Most of those questions are answered here. So with an advance, it says move into adjacent hex, then must stop. Ignore movement points. No return fire or op fire allowed. So that means when, say, infantry, and that's advance, that's when infantry can move into a hex with an enemy. There's no op fire, so they can move in there. And if they still have their side still has the initiative, then that they could do a fire, which would turn into a melee instead of a direct fire. So there's some of these things that they're explained in other places, like it's explained here, and I miss it in the rule book, or I misunderstand it in the rule book. But then here I see, okay, I see, I was doing this wrong. So it's little things like that that I'd have to remember to be doing that I'm not, or that I do incorrectly. So I just have to remember all of the little intricacies of the rules. That I have a tendency to overlook when I'm rereading the rules. I'm not going to go back and try to redo any of that mistake concerning, having this Tiger in here with this Russian rifle unit. And instead of firing on this unit, they fired at the tank. I just let it slide and move on. We've got the cube here at 8 for the Germans. And we've got a pretty good variety here in the orders. I don't know why that is that color. The Germans want to take control of this objective hex here, and then begin to push this direction, move down this direction, and take these others. This here is also available. It's going to be available soon. So something else is the Germans need to look to use maybe their infantry to take out these Russian tanks that are here. You've got this one here that's stunned, and you've got this one up here that's rattled. You got another one over there that's immobilized. And so, the Germans only have one operational Tiger unit here. If we go with the assault, let's move, excuse me, move and fire, then, well, there's the fire cube, and then there's the asset cube. We could just take the fire cube. Well, no, it's a move for the Germans. If we look here, the 3 cube on the German side is move. So that's what they're going to do, and they're going to bring this down to 5. So it's going to be a move. And so now I just have to flip the units over that are going to move. Okay, so both of these guys are going to move. This guy's moving. Okay. That grenadier unit up there, right here, doesn't need to move unless he moves around. No, I think he's just going to stay there. We've got some units here that are going to want to move. We've got a range here of 3. 1, 2, 3. So this unit can move, not cost anything. This unit can't move, it's pinned. This unit can't move, but this unit can move. The machine gun. And I didn't move those 2 guys. They could have moved. But I can move them now. They're still within range. Now if I move this one here, it's going to cost 2, but we're going to go ahead and do that. We want to go ahead and move this one as well. And that's going to cost 2, so we go down to 3 on the initiative track. So let's get started with our maneuvering. All right, so this guy's going to move into here. All right, so when he moves into here, I'll flip that over now. He's getting fired at by this one. This unit here. Now, if they do that, they give the Germans let me get over here where we're at. Can't even tell what's going on here, can you? All right, so I moved this unit into this building hex, this objective hex. This tank here can fire at this unit. So it would be a strength of 4. And it's in their frontal arc. So it'll cost 1. So that moves it to 4, the initiative. Okay, the building is going to provide cover of 4. The hindrance is just the normal 1. Wow. So 12 and 12, that's 24. And Grenadier, 12 plus 4 is 16, and 13 is 29. So they survived, and I flip them over, and so they control that objective. This unit moves behind the house, that's 1. 2. I think he's still safe because you got this blocks and then this blocks. 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so actually this unit, so it gets here, it's only got a range of 2. He can actually go further than that. 1, 2, 3, 4. You wait for him to come on. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So he waits till he gets to right there. And he's going to open up on him. I didn't even see what was going on. So we've got this rifle unit that's entrenched. And we came 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And right there, we opened up on him. 15, that's 28. He's in the open, moving, -1. 20, so he's going to be 31. So no effect. And then he moves to here. And again, they fire. So return fire, that's during an enemy fire order only, is return fire. You don't get to return fire on opportunity fire. But this unit gets to fire again. And he rolled an 8 and a 1. Well, the 1 is the hindrance, so it's lost in the terrain. And it stops right there. Okay. All right, we go back over here. And this unit here goes 1. And when he goes to there, he goes to there, this unit could fire. It would cost 1. But the thing is, over here, it costs this guy's alone. So that costs 2 plus 2 more, that's 4. So that puts the Germans back up to 8. But what can you do? You know, you've got to try to defend. But while you're doing that, you're going to be just stuck on the defense the whole time. So, what can you do? So this unit here, this unit's going to fire. Range of 1, 2, 3. There is shooting through rough. So that hindrance is going to be a 2. And he rolled a 2, which the rate of fire now, he's not able to fire anymore. So that's 1, 2, 3. 3, 4, 5, 6. So he goes into those woods, possibly looking to maybe try to get into that hex with that in with that tank. All right. So that's all of those units there. Now, if we move over here, we want to move that tank. We've got some units here that we want to move. Oh, so this German unit here can fire. Let's see here. What are we going to do here? Well, this machine gun unit is going to move into here. And that's going to cause some units to fire. This unit is going to fire through here. This machine gun unit. Now they're not in that entrenchment yet, so there's going to be the rough. So that's going to be a hindrance of 2. He rolled a 2, which also means he's spent. All right, and then that machine gun unit here will fire, and he'll have to go down. He only has a range of 1, so he'll be firing 8s. All right, he rolled a 3 and a 6. That's 9, but the 3 means he's spent. And the defender rolled 12, so he's not going to get anything there. And then now this guy goes under the entrenchment there. Okay. So now he's spent. This guy goes 1. So that he can go either way. This guy is making a move. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And this rifle squad here, no, it's a submachine gun squad, can't fire. All he can do is move. He's suppressed. However, I do have a rifle unit that could have fired right over here. So he was here. 1. Let's see. He could fire at him there. He's only got a range of 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He'd have to go down to 6s. Don't know that he would do too good with that. So I guess we'll have to just let him go. So it ends up right there. And so that's all of that order. We can pull back, take a look here. This is on the 8. All right. What do they want to do? Well, they can do an assault for 5. But if they do direct fire, it's going to be, or they can just do the 5 and do a fire move. They just want to fire. I think that's what they're going to do. They're going to use the 5 here and then bring it down to fire. So this goes down to 3. We're going to need a piece of tape there to hold that down so it's not getting up. All right, let's see who wants to fire. All right, so we've got the 0 here. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. This guy's too far away, but we can flip this one over. If we flip this one over, it's going to cost us 2. So now it goes down to 1. Here we've got 1, 2, 3, so we can fire here. And this guy can fire. This guy here can fire. And machine gun unit can fire. And again, I did not move these guys. I meant to move these guys here, but I didn't. These 2 guys here can move. They could have moved. And the platoon over here, we're not going to move or fire. It cost us 2. We give the Soviets too many extra initiative. We want to do at least one more move, one more order. So let's just start firing right here. Let's get rid of these spent markers. New order. So this grenadier is going to fire at this Maxim machine gun in these woods. So the woods is just an obstacle. Cover is 2. So the hindrance is just going to be the 1. Going to get to roll 12s. due to the fact that they're adjacent. And they rolled a 7, which is 19. And machine gun rolled a 6. The woods gives 2. So that's 8, that's 20. So no effect. And if they fire back, which they're going to, 1, 2, that gives, moves the initiative track up to 3 on the German side. So they're rolling D12. Hindrance is 2. All right, so we've got 18. That's 26. And we've got 10 for the defense, so they're going to take a hit. And they're suppressed and can't fire. So we'll turn them over. Well, keep them up because we've got another unit that can fire. Well, no, you only get 1 return fire, so it's not movement. So that's finished. This grenadier unit is firing here, this unit in this entrenchment. Range is 3. And the range actually 2, but his maximum range is 3. So he's going to be rolling 10s. And a 17, that's 27. Defense will be 11 plus 3. 13. That's 27. So no effect. And this machine gun over here can fire. And so I'm going to use this machine gun. 1, 2, 3. Strength of 8. Rolled an 18. That's 26. That unit's out in the open. 9. 21. So they're gone. They've already had one hit. That was a squad that was taken out. Okay. This machine gun unit here is going to fire here, this unit. So they've got a strength, let's see, a range of 6, strength of 14, 18, that's 32, and the defense is 14, 12, that's a hit, they're gone. So this rifle squad's, or submachine gun squad, is finished. Okay. Now this maximum machine gun here can fire back. Of course, now this guy's in this entrenchment. So he gets plus 3, he hit over 14. Plus he's in the rough, that's a hindrance of 2. The maximum machine gun has a range of 5. So 15 is 23. And he's at 14, 23, 13. So that's 27. So no effect. So we can flip him back over, put him underneath the entrenchment. And we've got that unit. can fire here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we have to move that initiative up because this unit here doesn't have a the max machine gun here doesn't have a command, so it costs 2 initiative for that to do that return fire. So all right, so that squad is firing 1, 2, 3, 4, so they got to go down to 8s. Don't have any asset cards to use. Okay, so they rolled a 12, so it's 22, and defense rolled a 14 plus the woods, which is plus 2. All right, so no effect. And of course, they can fire back at this unit, and they do. Rolling 10s. And they rolled a 14, so that becomes 22. 11, 23, so no effect. Okay. But again, that costs 2 more initiative, so it's back up to 7. And we skip this tiger here. So I don't know, let's see. Oh, okay, there's no building there. All right, so the tiger is firing here, adjacent, so they get to go up a die strength, so D12s. Hindrance is 2. Okay, so they rolled a 21. So that's 36. The defense is 11 plus 3 for the entrenchment, that's 14. And they rolled a 13. So they're going to take a hit. The thing is, they can't fire back against that tiger. Alright, so they're broken. They couldn't fire back anyways. And now the grenadier is going to fire at that unit. So they get to roll 12s. Ooh, they rolled a 2, which is the hindrance, so that stops that. Okay. We are finished with that order. So we're at 7 here. They're gonna, the Germans are gonna want these, they're gonna take the 10 and get the assets. So they're gonna draw 10 assets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so that goes all the way down to the 3 on the Soviet side, and they get to draw 3 asset cards. So we got counter battery fire. We got demolitions. We can eliminate a fortification. And then we got command and control. Flip any one active command marker, friendly or enemy, to its other side. Wow, that's nice. Now the Soviets get to possibly counterattack. What are they going to do? They need to rally some units. but they also need to just fire. I think they really need to rally. So if they take the 7, they could rally. That's what they're going to do. They're going to rally. So they take the 7, comes down to here, but this goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 to the 4 side. But it's going to cost them to do some rallying. So with this rally, I want to try to rally this unit. Okay. And they're within, let's see, 1, 2. So that'll cost 1. So now we go up to 5. This unit cost 1. Okay. This tank, that cost 1. So we're up to 7. This tank here, it's too dangerous. This rifle unit here can't fire. Let's flip him over. That's going to cost 2. So we're at 9. We got this unit and this unit. Both of them. 1, 2, 1, 2. We're up to 13. And if we did one more, it would be this unit over here. Way over here. Try to rally this one. So that's 2 more. So we're at 15. And we'll start over there. When we're rallying, if we're in a hex that has cover, we get benefit there. But if we are adjacent, let's see if it's on here. No, I think that's something that they did not add onto the charts. Is the fact that you don't have the rally modifiers. Okay, that's only if they were in melee. If they share a hex with a command marker, that's a plus 1d strength. Okay, so this one's got cover. So they get to roll 12s. And we're talking about this unit here. So they need more than 10. And I rolled a 19, so that's gone. And I think the easiest way to go about adding, so what will be subtracting on, or moving the initiative token up and down the track because of cost for different orders, is as you go through the board and you're flipping counters over to activate, that you go ahead and just make pay the cost for that action. Whether the unit is in mission command, tactical command, or no command. Next. Well, I didn't flip this guy over. And I would want to flip him over. That's another 2 to cost, so we're up to 17. But he gets to roll 12s. And I rolled an 18, so he's no longer. And he's still under that entrenchment. Okay. Let's go back yonder. Both of those guys, they're in the open though, so they've got to roll the D10s. We'll do the top one, the submachine gun. Need an 8, got an 11. No, just needed a 6. So they're good. Now we need an 8. Got a 17. So they're good. Now that unit that's right here, they need a 10. They're in cover. They get to roll 12s. 15. They passed. Okay. We got this tank. Pull back. Tank. Now they're not in cover, but they do have the command marker. So rolling 12s, they need a 14. And they got an 18. So they're going to be able to move. Then this one here is out in the open. So he's just rolling 10s. And he needs a 10. He got a 12. So he rallied. Now we have this other tank right here. They're in cover. So they get to roll 12s. Need a 12. 22. So now they're back. Now, all we have the Germans can look there and know that they're going to be able to get 2 orders back to back. So let's see here. Don't have an asset that they would want to use. So they could actually draw 2 more cards, give themselves 2 more assets, and then they might be able to use an asset. So let's do that. We're going to use this 9 here. And so they get to draw 2 cards. Move this down. 7, 8, 9, so it's at the 8. Okay, they get heavy anti-tank rifle, and it is a heavy. Look at that, 14. That's a very good card. And then a medium battery. So, they're going to use this. And they're going to use this heavy anti-tank rifle. Five, six, seven, eight, nine. Yeah, 9. So then they use that asset right there. And they're going to use it right there against this tank. And this unit here is going to fire it. So, range, they're adjacent. So they get to go up in dice. They're going to be rolling 12s. And they're firing into the flank of this unit. So instead of the 25, they're firing against that 16. So it's 14 strength. But they've got a increase in die strength. So it's 12, 2 die 12 against 2 die 10. 12 to 10. Ooh. Hindrance, though, is a 2. And they rolled a 2. Wow. What a lost opportunity there. Now, this unit, or that unit, or even this unit, can fire back. This unit would have to, go with D8s because they've got to fire in their flank. This unit's firing from their front, one of their front hexes. So, okay, so this Grenadier should have turned over on this side. Turn fire. Well, that was an asset card though. So now they don't get to fire asset card. So we can flip this unit back over. It's different than direct fire. Okay. There's no return fire for that. Now, the Germans still have the initiative, and there's 2 left here. There's a 9 and an 8. So they're going to take the 9 and get 2 more asset cards. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Puts it on the Soviet 2 side. They get mortar battery and another mortar battery. So then they can use that for their light. Some of these they can use for their light infantry, for their light machine guns, light submachine guns, to give them an extra hex of range. So And the Soviets will take 8. So let's do this right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it's going to be sitting on the 6. And they have to decide what are they going to do. They can do a move order. They could do a move. Let's see. They could do an assault. Or they could just draw one asset. Because if they do a move order, they're gonna spend a lot of initiative moving units. So I think they're gonna draw an asset because they want to be able to use that asset for the APCR rounds against these tigers. They got 2 tigers left, so they're gonna draw the asset, which is a smoke screen. And they really don't care because they're going to use it for the special ability that their tanks have. And so that's where it'll stop. And of course, we've got to go through here and perform the end of turn. So I guess this is where you would actually draw an event. You don't do it at the beginning, you do it at the end. And we have Master of Logistics. What does that mean? I have to look it up in the original book. So, player with initiative may spend 8 initiative to take any one asset card in his discard pile back into his hand. Does he want to do that? Let's see what he's got in the discard pile. Okay, anti-tank rifle. I think that's what he's going to do. He wants that anti-tank rifle back. Yeah, so we're going to take this card, put that back in there, and we're going to move this initiative 8 on the track. So it's at 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So now the Soviets have the first activation for the next turn. All right, then next thing we do here is we don't have the sudden death roll. Remove all 2 smoke markers, none of that. Sniper. So we have the sniper activity. And let's see, they've got 2 command markers on the board. We rolled a 6, so no effect there. All right. Move markers into pending. Okay, so both armies have 2 new order, mission order tokens. So we move the tactical markers to the pending box. So that means the Soviets lose this one. It goes to the pending box. And the German mission command go to tactical command. We don't have any reinforcements, and then we reseed the order matrix. So let's do that. And we'll turn that like that. We'll just move this one in. So we've got 2 dice. That's a 10 and a 5. 10 and an 8. 7 and 3. 7 and 10. 7 and 1. No 2 or 4, 6 or 9. Okay. This moves to 10. And that's it.